You're heading to Nigeria for Detty December, but naturally, you're unsure or nervous. Nervousness isn't specific to first timers. I also overthink every time I return to the country. This video should serve as a starting point for you as you plan your Detty December trip to Lagos. Whip out your notepad because I'm about to give you free game. It's been a very long year. You've had to work extra or give your all at school. And for some of us, we had to work and go to school at the same time. And after a long year, you deserve to go where you are loved and where your money can do a lot for you. There's no better time to visit Lagos and Nigeria than now. Out here, your money means something, and you know what they say: what happens during Detty December never happened. With that in mind, let's help you plan your perfect Detty December trip, because you might be overwhelmed right now. There's a lot that goes into planning a Detty December trip. Most of us, we see the snaps, we see the IG post and just think it was all fun, but the difference between you having the time of your life and losing your mind is proper planning. The first thing you have to do now is get your documents. I'm going to assume that if you're watching this video, you are most likely Nigerian and you have a valid Nigerian passport. But if you don't, obviously you need to get a visa and whatnot if you need a visa. So now let's get back to the flights. If you're watching this now, no matter the day, no matter the time of the day, if you have the money, go and book next year's Detty December's flight tickets right now, because the prices I'm seeing at the time of recording this video are incredible. These are not prices that align with any form of reality, but almost every flight is sold out because people want to come at all costs. If you book late, you will literally pay the price and you will feel like you were robbed. With that in mind, some airlines are not worth it. I know money is always a factor, but going to book airlines like especially with connecting itineraries, it might be that your luggage gets to you when you've left the country. It's not always bad, but I have seen enough negative reviews to know that some airlines are not worth it. Do research on the airlines before you pay. Next up, you've gotten your necessary documents, you've gotten the shots you need, and your travel year has come. Please do not miss your flights. Under normal circumstances, if you miss your flight, you can begrudgingly pay to rebook, but most of these flights do not even have space for you to rebook, and if they do, you are paying incredible sums. During the flight, get some rest, because Nigeria, and Lagos to be precise, has a way of just eating you the moment you land, everything at once all together. I recently just tried this for the first time, but I arranged concierge service that would help you through immigration. It's incredible, but the first time I experienced it, it was so nice. Your pickup vehicle gets to come to the front of the arrival area instead of you having to walk to where they park. Like, for the price, which was relatively fair, especially if you're using a foreign currency, it made a lot of sense. So you can get a concierge that will help you go through all that shenanigans quicker and get you to enter your vehicle right in front of the arrival. Next up, everybody hears your accent if you have one. They see where you're coming from. They share the flight, oh, a European or American airline, and they imagine that you have money. Bro, don't smile to immigration, customs, etc. You're not anybody's sister. Oh, fine sister. Oh, big bro. You're not anybody's big bro. Remember, you're the last born in your family. This is not saying you should be disrespectful. Yes, sir. No, ma'am. Thank you. Nothing is funny, because they are not happy with you. They want to get something from you. And when you come to Nigeria and you change that first piece of naira, let's say it's at the airport for a lot of people, you will be shocked by the amount you get. Like 1,700 for $1, 2,200 for £1. But don't be too shocked. The exchange rate will make sense to you very soon. If you're enjoying this video or you're gaining something from it, why don't you subscribe and like it? Thank you as you do so. Next up, we have accommodation. For lots of people, your accommodation will be covered by family or friends, but if that's not the case, Airbnbs are an option, and hotels. The next few minutes assumes that you are getting your own accommodation, either alone or shared. The first thing you should consider is what's on your itinerary. For a lot of people, the bulk of things they want to do is on the island. For a lot of people, they only interact with the mainland when they are coming from and going to the airports. So what's on your itinerary, that will decide where you get a house or hotel. Book early and then confirm multiple times before arriving. I've seen cases where people book early and then the Airbnbs or hotels realize that they can charge way more as December gets closer, and then they mess you up, tell you, we're giving you a full refund, but now you are in Lagos or about to get to Lagos and you are stranded. Always make backup plans. Nigeria is not somewhere you should go with, oh, I made my booking in September. Consider security, accessibility, and location. There's a difference between Ikoyi and Ikoyi. There is new Ikoyi, there is old Ikoyi, and there is Ikoyi Obalende. You don't want to get an apartment in Obalende, which is technically Ikoyi. If they tell you it's Ikoyi, they are not lying, but they know what they are doing. Moving on, mainland versus island. This is a conversation and an argument that is as old as time or as old as Lagos. Do you get an apartment on the mainland or on the island? Most people would want an apartment or hotel on the island, but a mainland is actually a meaningful option. There are certain places on the mainland that are accessible to the island and actually quite great. You can consider the mainland if you are desperate. For example, you can't find any apartment on the island, or you just want to stay on the mainland. Like me, I've always been a mainland boy, and I feel like I'm always going to be a mainland boy. In my opinion, and I might just be biased, some parts of the mainland, like Ikeja, are actually better than parts of the island, especially once you go beyond Chevron or VGC. Next up, are you getting a specified driver? Do you have a friend or family that's driving you around, or will you be getting Bolts and Ubers, or are you planning to convert your first Uber driver to your regular driver? This will ensure that you are able to move to the right places. You don't want to try to get a Bolt at 3 a.m. in a random location in Lagos. Safety and convenience. And for the big boys and girls among us, do you really need those police escorts? Going around Lagos this period is so hard. All the escorts are fighting each other, bro. It's a battle for supremacy on the roads. You really need the escorts. Think about it. Let's assume that you choose the island, which most people will. What really is the island, and how far is too far? In my opinion, the island is Ikoyi, and then VI. Those two parts are like DE in capital letter, THE island. Lekki phase 1 also island. Ikate to me is the border, especially as a non-full-time Nigerian. Anything beyond Ikate, I feel like, I don't know, you spend lots of time in traffic. And once you go beyond VGC is too far, to be honest. I'm just trying to be nice, but once you go beyond Chevron, you have left the islands and you're not in the badlands. If you are staying in Aja, I'm sorry, you might be spending all your day in traffic. Another thing I try to tell people is mentally prepare for the traffic. When I tell people, they're like, no, we have traffic back home. You don't have Lagos traffic. Lagos traffic is incredible. You can go in as a freshman and come out as a graduate in just one day. What I usually advise people to do is try to bunch your activities together. Plan your itinerary in such a way whereby the places you want to visit today are relatively close to each other, where you can get short rides between them. That would ensure that you don't have to go across the entire island, or you're going from one extreme to another just to have fun. Bunch your events together and you get more out of it. Consider alternative transport means if you can. For example, if you're going somewhere where there is a boat service or train, why don't you take that? You don't have to be on the road all day. If you're still here, then you're obviously enjoying the video. Why don't you subscribe and like? It means a lot to me, to be honest. Detty December is all about the nightlife, events, club, bars, concerts, the whole 9 yards. But what about during the day? I feel like that's a significant experience that lots of people are not really taking advantage of. Resorts are really big right now. There are resorts dotted across Lagos. Big one is Ilashe. Ilashe has a couple resorts, but you can't really go there by road in a meaningful amount of time, so you have to go by boat. Takwa Bay is a closer and more mature experience. Mature experience in the sense that it has existed for a longer time. There is the logistics to support you going there easily. There are eco parks like LCC, Lekki Conservation Center, Lufasi, Omu Resorts that are worth your time and efforts. And I personally love the galleries and exhibitions that you can go to for free. So what is there to do beyond the island? I always tell people, do not knock the mainland. Yes, there are places that I wouldn't advise my enemy to go, but there are lots of places worth visiting, and if you can, look beyond the online conversations. There are things worth doing on the mainland, trust me. But what I always advise people to do, usually people that did not grow up in Nigeria, is go on a full day Badagry slavery tour. While planning your itinerary, just decide that on this day, I and my friends and family are going to Badagry to learn more about slavery. I was born and raised in Nigeria, and I still live in Nigeria even though I travel fairly often. But I learned so much when I visited the slavery installations there than I had ever known in all my 20 plus years on this planet. You'll be doing yourself a great disservice if you don't go to learn more about what was done to us, so we can learn from it and do better in the future. If there's one thing you take out of this video, is go to Badagry. You can support the channel by becoming a member or gifting super thanks. It means a lot to me and supports the work I do. I understand how overwhelmed and honestly crazy you might feel right now. It's one of those things that come with visiting Nigeria, especially if it been your first time or your first time in a long time. But there's a difference between over planning and overthinking. Over planning is actually great in my opinion. Plan for everything and make contingencies of if they fail. But overthinking is the entire opposite. You are always worried about things, you are brooding, but nothing is really changing. Don't forget your meds. December is often a Harmattan period, so you might get allergic reactions, especially to dust and the likes. Poor visibility might be a thing because everywhere is quite dusty. If you can, wherever you are, get some naira notes before you go to the airport when you're coming to Nigeria, or try to see if somebody that you meet on the plane or while boarding has some naira notes, because sometimes saying no and trying to leave those people is not enough. They have their ways and they are very skilled. They would make sure that they get as much as they can from you, and you don't want to give them foreign currency. Even if it's like 2,000, 5,000, give them if you feel the need to, or you're cornered. It's an unfortunate reality, but it's our reality in this country. Why don't you click the video on screen right now? It's a follow-up to this and I created it with you in mind. Until the next video, your friend from the Ukodo YouTube channel wishes you love, peace and prosperity.